How are you, Fionnuala?
Great, thanks, Barry. John, and yourself?
I'm very good. It's weird
Wasn't
seeing
as
you.
always.
Absolutely. It's weird seeing you on the camera now instead of seeing you in personal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange, like, isn't it?
It is
But it's
indeed.
good. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming on. I very much appreciate it. Um, I suppose this idea has stemmed from, obviously I usually do my normal podcast where I get all kinds of characters coming on from anything from crime to wrestling to porn to whatever. So
Yeah, it's fab. Like, I suppose for the listeners coming on board with this, like, it's something that I've listened to podcasts, so even before I really knew that well. And I think you have great guests on there and such a broad range of topics.
thank you for saying that. Thank you. And in terms of, I suppose, what I wanted to do here and my idea for this, and I'm going to start doing it on the regular, is I want to start doing some podcasts and videos on health and fitness because, as you know, I have over the last kind of 3 months, I have, I suppose, refound fitness and I've got involved with fitness where I suppose I was motivated to do it. I remember, Fionnuala, I've said this to you before off air,
Yeah.
but I remember seeing a picture of myself and when you have that holy shit moment and I was like, oh my God, I saw that picture of myself and I was like, I was super overweight and like I had a proper like pregnant belly.
Food, baby, Barry.
Oh my God. And I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I remember some of my mates are, I think it was up around St. Stephen's Day or Boxing Day if you're in the UK. Last year, I remember I was sitting down in a bar and one of my friends took a picture of me and I was sitting down and I was wearing a shirt and let's just say the picture wasn't very flattering. there was there was
We both
rolls and
know the
rolls
camera
and
angle is never good. The
no.
camera adds an extra few pounds too. So,
Well, I don't know how many cameras were on me then, but it was like the buttons were about to pop and everything. And I was like,
you
right,
see now, Barry John, you can have the top buttons open instead and show up the
oh,
back.
this is it. This is it. So I said, okay. So it took me a few times where I'd kind of said to myself, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give up drinking. So I gave up drink, but I'd last generally I was lasting 7 days. I'd be back out drinking. And I was like, oh my God. And then it became kind of a running joke between my friends that I couldn't stay off the drink. And then one of my friends put on a bet with me and he said, I bet you can't stay off for 3 months. And he said, look, if you stay off for 3 months, I'll take you out for an all expenses meal into a nice restaurant in Dublin. And if I broke it and if I drank before the 3 months that I'd have to take him out and it included all the food and drink and whatever. So I said, okay, a little bit of motivation. And the fact that a few people were laughing at me, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Exactly. And you're a
So
competitive person too, so that's the last thing you want to do, like, isn't it?
exactly. But you know what? The bet didn't even matter to me. It was more like I think I kind of hit a rock bottom moment where I was like, you need to lose weight or you're going in the wrong direction here.
And
So
maybe tell us, like, what was that rock bottom for you? Because it's something I don't really know either. I know we know each other quite well, but I've never really got into you with that rock bottom. Like, what was that for you?
you know what? There was a few things where one of them was where I'd be putting on clothes and where okay, I'll give you an example, right? And I'm nearly embarrassed to say this, but I think I've said this to you before, but one of the things was like a lot of people go swimming every Christmas morning and they go out.
Oh yeah.
But, but, but usually I wouldn't go because I'm in terrible shape or whatever. And I used to be in very good shape when I was younger, but I just kind of let myself go. And then basically another thing was, and then like what I do, I just found myself in this never-ending cycle where I go out and when I do go out, I drink heavy and like I might go out at 1 o'clock on a Saturday and I'm coming home at all hours on a Sunday and there's a lot of calories being consumed. And then what ends up happening is I'm lying on the couch and I'm ordering a Domino's meal deal for 3 or something.
Typical though, like, and I suppose that's a good place to start as well, because you know that's such a typical thing for people, I suppose, around our age. Like when they get in your 20s and you're in your late teens, early 20s, yeah, you can party hard and just get up the next day, go to the gym, go to college or not go to college, whatever it happens to be. But I suppose as we get older, our body is less able to cope with it.
Yeah, for sure. No, 100%. So that bet was on with one of my other buddies. So then what I did something smart where I decided to stack the odds. So I made it too expensive for me to lose. So I started putting the bet out there to other people, and other people were like, yeah. So it built up where I was going to be bought, or I would have had to pay for about 7 dinners. And I was like, oh, there's no way I'm paying this. And all of their drink and everything, it would have cost me a few grand. So I was like, okay, now I can't drink or whatever. So I had done that. So then I said to one of my buddies, I said, and this is where the bet got real interesting, right? So I said, okay, if I can do 1 year off the drink, what'll you give me? And I said, it's got to be something interesting. So we've come up with the bet that if I can stay off the drink for 1 year, he has to pay for my flights, accommodation to New York. And where am I staying? I'm staying in the Plaza Hotel in Central Park, which is the hotel from Home Alone 2. So that gives me motivation. And now on top of that, recent bets that I've got this week with some of the other lads who would have had to buy me dinner, they've extended the bets because they know they're losing the dinner thing. So now I've got cash coming in of worth about $1,000 as well, which I'm going to I'm going to extend the bet on where I'm going to go from New York and then fly down to Cancun. I hope we're back traveling now at this stage.
Fingers crossed. We're hoping for the vaccine over here.
I'll be like, what's going on?
I suppose, remember, when you first took on the bet, the initial period was 3 months, yeah?
Yeah.
But I suppose it was once you started to get into it then, you only committed really to the year recently, wasn't it, from what I recall?
Yeah, got into which? Into
the 1 year bet. The time frame changed recently.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, so that kind of changed about halfway through, because usually what happens with me, Fionnuala, is I've gone through this cycle before where, okay, I've never gone as long as this. I'm 3 months in now on Saturday, but usually what happens is I give up for a few weeks and then I'll go on a massive blowout. But you know what? I think something has actually changed, and I think something switched with me, which has never happened before. And I've never been this motivated. And you know what this thing is as well, and you have a large part to play in it, because you've been no, I swear to God, you've been absolutely brilliant and so helpful in the fact that, okay, what I had done in the past is I'd given up drink, and I can get in shape. I've trained quite seriously in the past and whatever, and I can get in shape, but I could never really master the part of the diet. I could never do that. And
it's always the hardest for everybody.
But you know what? I found that I'd fall off and then I'd go out in a blowout or whatever. Whereas this time, I think some of the advice that I got from you, and even some of the simple advice, Fionnuala, of little tricks to actually, and this is what I want to do in kind of a future podcast, maybe even the next one, or I want to go through kind of tips on things, because I guarantee you there's a ton of people that are out there doing the exact same thing that I was doing, and they're making the exact same mistakes. And some of the changes and little small tips that you can do to make the diets manageable are so easy to do, and they can be just make such a big difference to somebody.
Absolutely. And it's something that I'm excited to do with you, Barry John, because I suppose as much as you feel that I've helped you, I feel that our interactions have been helpful for me too, because I suppose the nature of my job, I tend to be dealing with quite complex cases, and it's very in-depth, it's very individualized, very personalized, and it's kind of on a different level. You
Yeah.
know, whereas when we're talking about body transformation, you know, in contrast to people who suffer with health issues, it's actually quite straightforward. And it's something that I haven't done a lot of in a long time, is a transformation. I'm looking at the very simple level, you know, like I say to people, a lot of time I'll talk on social media about, you know, what type of food interventions are going to be best for this condition or that condition. But the reality is there's so many people out there who don't have any diseases or conditions, but
Sure.
they want to get the body transformation. And those type of interventions are going to be very different to a medically therapeutic diet. You know, I suppose it's not, as I said, it's not something that I've done a lot of lately. And, you know, even me giving those advices to you and you saying how big they were for you, like for me, I'm like, oh, I thought everybody knew that, or, you know, I wouldn't realize that that would be important for people. So, you know, I'm glad to kind of be able to go at this level and discuss, I suppose, largely not only the body transformation, because I suppose what I've seen with you is not just obviously the physique has transformed massively, and we can see that visually with the naked eye, but what you can't always see in a picture is all of those other things that have changed in you, you know, like, you know, even sometimes we're talking and you're saying, oh, I feel great, you know, and even those little things people forget, you know, it's not just about dropping the body fat, but it's how you change as a person, how your behaviors, how your mood, your energy, your focus, motivation. And I don't think those things are what people forget. It's not just about the physique or how we look, but also how we start to feel.
Yeah, listen, I couldn't agree more. I mean, like, I can take you back to, I remember when I actually went down and I joined the gym, right? And seriously, you've seen the pictures. I was so out of shape, right? And I remember going down and joining. I think I joined on a Monday evening because I couldn't get down there on the Sunday because I was so hungover. And I remember going down, and I went down at about 6 o'clock in the evening on a Monday evening, and I went down, and it was one of the most depressing experiences. I didn't even go to the gym. I just went down and joined, but it was kind of a big step to kind of get back into it. And I was, so I went down, and I remember then I started doing a program, and I have to say, I have found these programs very good from Athlean X. I've spoken to you about them before. And I found it kind of, okay, so I went in and I started the program, and the program I was doing was specifically for somebody who was, I think, in kind of in your 20s in terms of body fat. And the last time I had actually had my body fat done, I was 23% body fat. So, yeah, so I was, and by the time I actually went down and joined the gym, I'd say I was higher than that. So then I went down, and I remember doing the first week training. And I remember doing the first week in the program, and I remember thinking to myself, shit, I'm not going to be able to do this. I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And you get that kind of nearly like a quitting mentality where you're going, and you're thinking to yourself, fuck it, this would be a lot easier if I was sitting at home on the couch with a Domino's.
Look, at the end of the day, like I say to anyone, like, it's a case of choosing what you find hardest. So is it harder to get up, get out, change your life, go to the gym, suffer the pain of the gym for the first few weeks? Because anyone who hasn't been regular training, of course, your first few days there, you're going to feel like fucking shit.
You are. Yeah.
You're going to be sore everywhere. Like I say to girls, like, drying the hair is going to be a challenge because there's so much DOMS in the arms. For the guys, like brushing the teeth, simple things become a chore. And it's normal to feel those initial pains, aches, and motivation effectively. But, you know, what's worse? You sit on the couch, you eat the junk, you feel shit about yourself, the next day you wake up, you have no confidence, you do this, the same cycle of negative behavior keeps on going. Or you can get up, change it. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but that it's like effectively choosing which hard do you prefer? Like, you know, there's anybody who wants to change in any type of domain, whether it's like their body, their physique, whether it's their mindset, whether it's like improving other lifestyle parameters. There's any change is going to require you to go outside your comfort zone, to expose yourself to something that you're not comfortable with. And at the end of the day, what is it about? It's about survival of those who are most adaptable to change. So anybody who wants, even if we take the case of an athlete, let's say it's a person who's an endurance runner and they want to start doing strength training. Like, they're a seasoned athlete, but if they want to go do strength training, it's not in their nature to do that. Their body isn't equipped for that based on the history of training. So, it's going to be freaking tough for them. So
as someone found out today.
Pardon?
I said, has someone found out today?
I suppose what Barry John is talking about is today Fionnuala did a run, and actually it was actually Barry John that like it kept me motivated, because I had told him the night before, oh damn, like my coach has put this freaking run in my training program, and like. For me, as I said about the endurance runner, this is the opposite situation. I'm used to lifting heavy and doing volume and conditioning and weights. So running, although like I do sprints, don't get me wrong, but long distance, I'm talking 5K here. It's not like a marathon. Like this 5K is like, whoa, big deal for Fionnuala. So I said to Barry John the night before, I have to do this run. Then he gives me this bloody app on my phone. So I'm like, oh shit. So I download the app. I'm like, oh crap. I wake up or whatever. 6 o'clock in the morning, like, oh man, please be raining. No, I did it then, and like, to be honest, like I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was tough. Like my muscles, as I said to you this morning, Barton, like my muscles were like filling with blood. I was like so out of breath coming back up the hill. I didn't even notice it was a hill until I started running.
Yeah.
But it's the same case, that's like I wasn't exactly looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. And yeah, I didn't get a great time. But, if I keep doing it more often, then I'll get better at it.
It's a start. Yeah, well, you know what? Like in you saying that, one of the things that I find is, and this is kind of, okay, when I started going back training again, okay, you've got to turn up. That's first thing. You've got to turn up. It's like if you're walking a stairs. It's like the old analogy there, where if you're walking a stairs, don't look at the top step. Look at the step in front of you and say, right, okay, look at it in phases. And that's kind of what I did. Okay, for the first 2 weeks, you're going to go through a certain stage, but you're going to keep getting fitter. And I remember saying to you, Fionnuala, where I was kind of supplementing the strength and conditioning work that I was doing. And I was doing a lot of running as well. And I remember saying to you that one of the things that I did was I actually went out for a run, and I was running up a hill not too far from where I live, and I did this at the start, and I remember feeling my belly moving around when I was running up. I swear to God, on the first run that I'd gone on, and I was so out of breath. And I remember I used to be a decent enough runner, and I was 17 and a half stone here, so 110 or 111 kg. And I remember looking at the time that I got, and I was like, oh, good God. But then fast forward 2.5 months, I remembered that I did that run again. And I was running up that hill, and I was smiling, and I was like, this is easy. And it just goes to show the changes that you can actually make in such a short period of time is massive. You just need to commit to it.
Exactly. Commitment is key at the end of the day. And I agree with you in the sense of like taking it one step at a time. Like nobody's expecting you to be a professional athlete in 3 months' time. Nobody's expecting you to be on a bodybuilding stage in 3 months' time. It's step by step by step. Like I even said to you, when I first did weight training, actually ironically enough, I used to do competitive swimming. Then I went to college to study medicine, and obviously you can't competitive swimming, it's high, a lot of training. But so anyways, I needed my fix. So what I used to do is go to the college gym and run on the treadmill. I would run exactly 1 hour, exactly 10 kilometers per hour is the speed of the thing. I do that every single day. And one day, anyways, I actually, as many people who follow me would know, I suffered a history of depression. And I had spent a month in bed with the depression at that stage. And one day I just decided, okay, I'm going to go to the gym for whatever reason. And one of the coaches said to me, oh, what are you trying to achieve? Obviously, I was just after coming out of a depressive phase. The last thing I want to be doing is talk to some stranger in the gym about my freaking goals. But anyways, he started showing me the weights and everything else, and I loved it. But I've been doing it, maybe the dumbbells for a few weeks, and then he said, oh, let's have a look at the barbell. And I was like, whoa, what is this? I tried to get under the barbell, put my back, and I said, oh, there's no way I can ever lift this. So anyways, I left it that day. And actually, I'd say it was about 3 years later, I had the world record for the deadlift, or the Irish record for the deadlift, and I'd gotten second at the World Championships. So look at that transition. That was me committing to that every single day. Now, probably I should have taken the rest days, but it just shows you, I was like petrified of this bar. Like it felt like You felt I was lifting a car on my
Yeah,
back. I was like,
yeah,
this is no
no.
way this is going anywhere. But
No,
you know,
like,
that consistency over
like,
time.
like one of the things you mentioned there, like obviously if you suffered from depression in the past, and what I find is, I find that when you're doing this type of exercise, it's nearly like a medicine. It's nearly like you feel like my whole mindset, I swear to God, like I'm on to you every day going, Fionnuala, like when I'm out walking, myself and Fionnuala be
I know, yeah.
exchanging the voice notes, and I'd be walking the dog in the morning and I'd be like, Fionnuala, I feel like I'm on a drug. I'd be
I
like,
know. And it's
honestly, I
great to
feel,
hear,
yeah,
honestly. Like, it is. And you're right, though. It is like an ecstasy. You know, I say this oftentimes, like, yeah, it's painful, but like, you know, like it's that pain and pleasure. It's like, you know, it's the agony and the ecstasy ultimately. Like, how amazing do you feel, first and foremost? Obviously, there's the you know, effect of the exercise in itself on the brain, the endorphins, the dopamine, all the rest. But we also forget the psychology element of, look, like all I used to say to myself is, look, if I can tolerate this amount of freaking pain in the gym, you know, drive myself to the point where literally the muscles can't contract. Look, and I can take on anything else that comes through the day, like, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just it's that like feeling of achievement, the feeling of self-confidence because I did it, nobody else lifted that shit for me, or nobody else ran up that hill, or nobody else felt that pain and thought they were going to quit, but they kept going.
yeah.
So with even those things that help us, I suppose, with confidence, self-confidence, you know, anybody starts going to the gym, especially I suppose in the context of females, you know, how good does it feel to be lifting weights, you know, and
Yeah.
empowerment. But exactly, like you said, it's a high, you know, like even after I came back from that run today, running not my favorite thing in the world to do by any means, but
Yeah.
you do get this elation, this like buzz, like, and it's better than any drug.
Yeah, yeah. For no, like one of the things that where I'm kind of going now is like, okay, after month one, you start seeing, geez, I'm losing a few pounds here and there. Month two, you're like, okay,
True.
I can nearly see an outline of some abs there. And then like I'm coming on to month three now. And now I'm starting to see, like, when I'm naked, I can see like veins on my hip flexors. I can see veins on my biceps and stuff like that. And now I'm going, hang on a second, how far can I take this without drinking and without like whatever? And I'm being incredibly dedicated. I train every single day. And now I'm in my routine as well. I'm in my routine where, what did I say? It takes 21 days to get into a routine or something. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I go and I do my workout. Sometimes I'll run as well as lifting weights and do that kind of thing. So and now it, like, I don't even second guess it now anymore when the alarm goes off. Whereas in years gone by, say if I was nursing a hangover and let's say if I tried to train and the alarm
Oh, we
went
get
off,
up at
I'm
6 or
like,
5 or 6.
I'm like, snooze, I'm staying in bed. But
Well, I
now
think
it's kind of,
those are good things to share with people. I suppose today is an introductory podcast, but even little things like routine are so important. Like, you know, even like since you were telling me getting up, you going to the gym, like I used to always be a morning person because we used to like have swimming training at like
yeah,
5:30. So I was used to that. When you're like, oh yeah, I get up in the morning, I do the training. Because normally I would get up in the morning, walk my dog, come back, do work, do a little bit of training later on. And since I've actually started doing what you do, first thing I get up, I do the training. Like, and that actually has been a better routine for me too. Why? For one, like you said, you're not even thinking about the training. So you're like, okay, I'm just get up, I get it done, and that's the end of it.
yeah,
And like, you know, also if you get to the afternoon, you've done like for me anyways at work, it's quite draining emotionally and mentally. And then like I have to walk the little dog, which, you know, she, despite her legs, she requires plenty of mileage.
yeah,
So like what's going to happen, even for the most motivated person, you know, like obviously I love training, but if it gets to like later in the day, 3 or 4, like my motivation is going to dip as well.
yeah.
So, you know, I think even simple things like how to set up your routine is going to be invaluable. Remember, getting up at 5 o'clock is going to sound torturous if you're used to getting up at 7:30 and you're like falling out of the bed.
Yeah,
But
like some people turn around, and when I say to people I get up at 5:30 or whatever, and people will turn around and they'll say, "Oh my God, you actually get up at 5:30 and whatever," and it's like, because people aren't in that routine. But then what I'd say to people is as well, okay, once you're in a routine of that, that's not a big deal, and I think that you kind of touched on it there. If we're all busy people, right? And let's say if you leave it till the evening, oftentimes what I found when I trained in the evening and I didn't go in the mornings is you'll find that excuse.
Exactly.
You'll find that out. You'll find that, oh, but the match is on tonight. Liverpool are playing, or Man United are playing, or, oh, geez, I'm tired. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow.
Oh, I trained really hard yesterday. I
Yeah,
deserve a rest day.
just get up and fucking do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even the most motivated people in the world will find any goddamn excuse. Like, the brain is a powerful thing, but it can also work against us very easily. Yeah. And so, if you wake up in the morning, it's just what you do in the morning. Like, for me, I like get up, have a coffee, go, do the training. Now, obviously, we're in lockdown, so I'm doing it at home. I don't have to walk to the gym, which is great. But, I think that routine is very helpful for people. But God knows, if it was the afternoon, I have to train at home, there's probably not, or even there's not a hope of me doing it. No. For sure.
Like for me, I found out kind of through trial and error, where it was like every time I tried to do the evening training, like I would go through that cycle of, oh yeah, you'd keep procrastinating, and then it's just like you keep putting it off, and then I'll go tomorrow, and then sometimes tomorrow doesn't come either, and then you don't get into the routine, you don't get the results and whatever. If you're doing a program, and this is the other thing that I think some people do as well, where people make a mistake, where somebody might start going to the gym, but they'll start and just go, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some bicep curls, and then I'm going to do some whatever. If you're going to the gym and you want to get serious results, you need to have a program, and you need to know, okay, this is what I'm doing, and have a program. Get somebody who actually knows what they're doing to do out a program, because you need to go in and say, okay, if somebody's done out your program properly, there's going to be a goal to it, and there might be phases within your program where you might have an initial phase, which is getting your body used to it and whatever, and improving your mobility, and then it might increase to something else as well. So it's all thought out and it's done for you, and all you need to do is follow it. If you start doing it on the fly, you will give up. That is a guarantee, because you don't know what you're doing, and you're just gonna run out of things to do, and you'll give up because you're not going to see the results.
Yeah, 100%. And I suppose we're using the context of the gym. So, let's, like I say to other people, let's be sensible about this. Like, it's training in the gym, but you can lift weights and exert such a myriad of different effects in the body. So we can strategize the weight program to elicit body composition effects. And that's a different type of training to if we want to grow the muscle tissue. So those reference ranges, those sets, the rest intervals, time under tension, those things are going to vary. If we want to get stronger at the squat, that's going to be lifting weights in a different way. And so, like I say to anybody else, it's like, I personally, I have the qualifications in S&C, but I know how to train, but I still get someone else to do my program, because it's no more than I wouldn't go to a doctor. I wouldn't self-prescribe or assume to be able to doctor myself, as it were, in the same way as, the gym can have such an amazing result on the body. And if you're serious about changing your body composition, your body shape, and your health as a consequence, get somebody to help you, like there's any amount of PTs out there, and then also get someone, make sure you're doing someone who's specialized in the area that you want to achieve it. There's no point going to a bodybuilding coach if you've never been to the gym before. There's no point going to an Olympic lifting coach if your goal isn't to be an Olympic lifter. So they're body transformation coaches. And even within body transformation, there's people who, let's say my coach is specialist at physique, so he's going to shape my body. I'm already experienced trainee. Whereas somebody who's new to the gym, and let's say in the contrast of you have an athletic background, which will be different, so you already carry the muscle underneath. But for somebody who's totally new, they want to go to, let's say, a body composition coach, a novice into the gym. That's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing about having a plan too, like I say to someone who's new, is, look, the great thing about weights is you see yourself improve, especially if you're a new person, within days. Even one of my friends, like, he's a surgeon, right? And he's my best friend for years. And he would never go to the gym, like just would never happen. But recently he said he is living in a different country and he has a gym in the building. And he was saying, oh, I'm thinking of doing weights. I was like shocked, first of all. But anyways, like a few weeks on, he's like, oh, I'm actually up to 8 kilo dumbbells, and he started at 3 kilos. And that in itself was good for him because he had a program. He knew, okay, I normally do, let's say, 10 reps of this. And over the weeks, now I've moved from doing 3 kilos for that rep range. Now I'm doing 8. Like that in itself feels good.
For
you know,
sure.
How can you not get addicted to those achievements over time?
Yeah, listen, 100%. And look, if for anyone who actually, I suppose what the reason why I'm doing this podcast and why I said this would be a good idea, because there's so many people that reach out, and you probably have 10 times or 20 times more people reaching out to you going, how do I do this? And some of the changes that you can make are so fucking simple. And like what I find is, and what I want to try and do here is help people with just simple changes and just give simple advice. So, I mean, I'd love to get you on whenever you're free and help.
Happy to be, Jay.
Yeah, that would be very good. And I think on the next one, I think a good one to do would be, I suppose, doing something about diet, maybe.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to talk about nutrition because I think it's an area that people are very confused about. You know, there's so much out there. Now, like I said to people, there's no perfect diet for everybody. There's also no perfect diet for any one person for all stages of life. Take example like what you've done with food. You adhere to might do carnivore for 2 weeks, then you might do calorie cycling, then you might do calorie carb cycling, all these different things. And the same as we have to change the training program, you know, if we keep doing the same training program every single day of the week, aside from rest days, what's going to happen over time? You're not going to make any changes because there's no new stimulus. It's the same thing with diet. Like, if you keep doing the same thing, what does the body do? It adapts. Like, humans are great organisms. They have the ability to adapt. Yeah. So how does a calorie deficit work? It shocks the body into thinking, oh shit, like I'm not getting enough food here. So, you know, I need to use my fat resources as energy. So what happens if I maintain that same calorie deficit, which means, I suppose, for viewers, we're eating less than we're burning in terms of energy and output and activity, whether that's NEAT or training. So NEAT being non-exercise associated thermogenesis. So that's, for example, walking the dog or just doing housework or walking around, whatever it happens to be, go shopping. But if we keep adhering to that same amount of calories, the same amount of protein, same carbs, fat every day, like, is the body going to keep changing? No, it's going to say, oh, hey, I'm used to eating this way. So, like, you know, I'll start storing my fat now again because I'm safe.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that again the next day. And let's talk about, a lot of people have gone on to me when they've seen the body transformation pictures and they're like, how did you do that? No, but they're like, how did you do that? How did you do that? Okay. A large part of it is I shouldn't have been that fat. Number one, and so I made some major life changes in terms of giving up alcohol and that, which has made a massive difference. But then other than that, we've also we've definitely tapered my diet a lot, and I want to talk about that maybe the next time, and we'll go into that a little bit more. But I only wanted to do a short podcast today. You are a legend. And,
no worries.
No,
and likewise, PJ, I suppose for anyone listening, like, I think like your transformation has been amazing. Not only, like you said, the physique transformation is incredible, but I think how you've changed as a person too, just in terms of your overall disposition from when I first met you. And one of the key things that I would have picked up as those with medical background was not so much the abs on the photo, which are all well and good, but if you look at the photos, I'm not sure if people have noticed the black circles under the eyes.
Yeah.
And they're gone now, you know.
My face, a lot of people, even like I met one of the ladies on my road there the other day, and she said, "Oh my God!" No, she said, "Oh my God, your face, you're still losing a lot of weight and whatever." And that's one of the things that people kind of say to me, that my face has gone a lot thinner, which is good.
And your eyes are brighter, all those things, and you're a happier person.
Yeah, I'm definitely a happier person. Let's leave it at that, Fionnuala, and let's do it again next week or whenever you're free. And thank you so much for doing it. And I will chat to you shortly.
Bye.
See ya.